Hello, hello, hello. My name is...
It's Robert Neville.
Stop it. No. It's...
Robert Neville.
Stop it. My name is Pey Behin.
My name is Robert Neville. I'm a survivor living in New York City. I am broadcasting on all AM frequencies.
Robert, take it easy. All right, my Pay Americans. Today we're talking about COVID and what it's done to real estate. Has the market stopped? Should I buy? Should I sell? Should I wait? We'll get into that right after this. But first, peep the new intro. Roll the title. Pretty great, right? Okay, so one of the benefits of being licensed in DC, Maryland, Virginia, as well as the West Coast and California, where the market got hit first with the coronavirus, so I get to watch both markets and see what's happening. So it looks like California was just a little bit ahead of us. They're finally now just getting back into the swing of things. Now, what happened in California when COVID broke? First, they deemed real estate as non-essential. Then they said it was essential, but then they banned face-to-face showings. Agents would have to get creative. You show up in two separate cars. Agent shows up, unlocks the door, goes back to his or her car, lets the buyer in, and then the buyer FaceTimes the agent sitting right outside in their car. And homes were still selling. And then what happened here in DC? DC, Maryland, Virginia deemed real estate as what I've been saying this whole time. I'm essential, baby. Looks like DC, Maryland, Virginia is a little bit behind, but we are getting there too. When we first got hit, all I saw was price drop after price drop after price drop in the suburbs. Not in DC necessarily. Inventory has also dropped off. DC is a little bit lower than the 5-year average. DC just doesn't have enough homes. As far as we can see, we're not going into the buyer's market. Now, for those getting excited about the buyer deals coming up, we have no indicators saying that this is the crash of 2008. A lot of illegal practices were happening back then. It's not happening now. Every buyer thinks things are going to drop like 20%. Some buyers are thinking we're going to go from this to this.
Bueller.
It's probably not going to happen because what we're seeing is that sellers are just maintaining their price. Sellers are not on the same page. They're just going to pay the extra month mortgage until the buyer rolls around. If you've been following me on social media, I've been saying that there's some deals happening for buyers right now. Let's say before Corona, you had supply and demand. Now, what happens when this listings drop, the number of buyers drops as well? You have that exact same ratio of supply versus demand, just a little bit less. So what does that mean for buyers? Possibly, what we're hoping, instead of escalating to 16 to 25 offers like before coronavirus in DC, you might be 1 to 3. Now, as a buyer, that may be a deal because I'm not seeing the 6-figure escalations that we were before. They may happen, just not as plentiful. The other benefit to buyers, if you're going in the suburbs, you don't have to do all the crazy waiving of all your contingencies. Just got a deal in the burbs of Virginia where we got $50,000 off the sales price. Would that have happened before Corona? They probably would have told us to hit the brakes and take their chances with the new buyer. But in this case, they wanted to be done with Corona and move on to the next part of their life. And then we have Inman, our industry newsletter, is kind of reciprocating what I'm saying by looking at 4 markets ahead of the nation. Those 4 markets being New York City, Seattle and East Bay, California, Portland, and Austin. And then what they saw was that we're not going to be like a V recovery where you have a sharp decline and then a sharp incline, or even a U where you have a sharp decline, a bottoming out for 4 to 5 weeks, and then an incline. What they are predicting is that we have a checkmark recovery where it's a sharp decline, 3 to 5 weeks bottoming out, and then a gradual rise. So what's my advice to buyers? Really, it's for what you decide. This is a very sensitive time. I don't want to put anybody's safety up. If you're going to be affected by coronavirus, whether you work in hospitality or something, your income's a little bit unstable right now, wait it out. But let's say you're unaffected by the virus, and if it's right for you, then now's the time. Do I think the same home is going to cost more next year? I think all the indicators point to yes. Now, do I want to sell? The inventory is limited. It's 20% drop since Corona started in DC. So the mortgage applications have dropped by an equal amount. The buyers are out there, and the market is going, especially in DC. If you're going to see homes are still flying off the shelves in 3 to 5 days when they're priced right. Just because Corona's out there, it doesn't mean that there's less information for buyers. Buyers are still smart. Don't overprice your home in this time, thinking the limited inventory is going to give you this crazy market value. But things are still moving. My brokerage in DC just had the best March they've ever had since they opened up 7 years ago. Yeah, I was there. It was all me. It's all me. Once again, you can follow me on Bookface, the Gram, Twitter, LinkedIn, what's this one? YouTube. All the same name. Pey Behin. Thanks for watching.